Nagasaki Shinchi Chinatown is the oldest Chinatown in Japan. The district in downtown Nagasaki stretches over approximately one city block dissected by intersecting lanes, and is home to a variety of shops and restaurants. It is the best place to eat Nagasaki's famous, Chinese-influenced dishes, champon and sara udon. Nagasaki was the only major port open to foreign trade during Japan's era of isolation, and the Chinese were the only traders allowed in the city alongside the Dutch. Like Dejima for the Dutch, Chinatown was initially a reclaimed island, hence the name Shinchi, literally new land, as the place for the Chinese to conduct business. Due to further land reclamation, the district is no longer an island today. Unlike the Dutch who had to reside and work exclusively on the single island of Dejima, Nagasaki's Chinese traders were initially allowed to move around the city more freely. Later during the Edo period, however, they were confined to live in a dedicated district surrounded by walls, not far from Shinchi, where the trading business continued to be conducted. Today, this former Chinese settlement still features a few buildings reminiscent of its past. A large, recently constructed Chinese-style gate stands at the district's entrance. The neighborhood is tranquil and atmospheric and makes for a nice stroll. It is comprised of narrow lanes, with a few Chinese-style temples and buildings scattered here and there. Just 3 stops from Nagasaki Station, the Koga district, where Gyosenkaku is located, is a traditional landscaping and planting area with a history dating back to the early Edo period, and is named Koga Plant Village. The Koga area is said to be the oldest production area for garden plants in Kyushu, with a history of approximately 400 years. As I walked around, I could see that the area was indeed densely packed with landscaping businesses and residences with immaculate gardens, but I later learned that there were other gardens that could be visited. Gyosenkaku Pavilion is a mansion built in 1945 as the private residence of Nagasaki businessman Akihiro Inoue. The Japanese garden that was created as the mansion's grounds uses Mount Jiasen as a backdrop and is a stroll-style garden that makes use of the difference in elevation. It is currently the guest house of the local company Toyokuni Group. In recent years, the park has been open to the public for special periods during the autumn foliage season, late November through early December, and many people visit the park as it is a famous spot for viewing autumn leaves in Nagasaki.
try something new. Make some changes that are long overdue. Trying to wrap my head around it, but still.
Suwa Shrine is the major Shinto shrine of Nagasaki, built in 1614, the same year as Tokugawa Ieyasu's edict against Christianity. It was established as a hedge against the growth of Christianity that was taking place in Nagasaki. At that time, Nagasaki was home to the largest Christian population in Japan, and had destroyed many of its Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples. The Tokugawa shogunate had taken power, reversed its friendly policy towards Christianity, and had begun forcing Christians to reconvert to the Japanese religions of Buddhism and Shinto. It was thought that establishing a major point of Shinto worship would be important to these efforts, giving the local population a central point of worship and a sense of community. Suwa Shrine is located in the northern part of the city, on the slopes of Mount Tamazono, and features a 277-step stone staircase leading up the mountain to the various buildings that comprise the shrine. Due to its sheltered location, it survived the atomic blast intact, and locals considered this to be significant, showing the power of the native Japanese god as opposed to the imported Christian god. Ohura Catholic Church was built in 1864 after two French priests came to Nagasaki in 1863 with the intention of building a church honoring the 26 martyrs of Japan. The building was originally a small wooden church with 3 aisles and 3 octagonal towers. The present structure is a much larger Gothic basilica that dates from around 1878. On March 17, 1865, shortly after the completion of the original cathedral, Father Petit-Jean saw a group of people standing in front of the cathedral. They indicated to the priest that they wanted him to open the doors. As the priest knelt at the altar, an old woman from the group approached him and said, "Where is the statue of Holy Mary?" Petit-Jean discovered that these people were from the nearby village of Urakami, and were Kokor-Kurishitans, descendants of early Japanese Christians who went into hiding after the Shimabara Rebellion in the 1630s. A white marble statue of the Virgin Mary was imported from France and erected in the church to commemorate this event. Before long, tens of thousands of underground Christians came out of hiding in the Nagasaki area. News of this reached Pope Pius IX, who declared this the miracle of the Orient.
You would make my dreams
The Dutch slope, or the Hollander slope, is a specific paved street leading up a hillside in Nagasaki's Higashiyamate neighborhood. The surrounding area was inhabited by wealthy Western merchants after Japan opened its ports for foreign trade in 1859. The area still has a few original residences from that time, some of which can be visited. Orandazaka, as it is called in Japanese, is technically just a single, cobblestone street. However, for tourists in Nagasaki, the name is tightly connected with the neighborhood, which has a somewhat European feel to it. Located on a high hill, this area was a perfect place for the rich foreigners to build their villas and mansions. The views from the villas up on the hill are fantastic, making for a great status symbol for the Western merchants. Until Japan opened for foreign trade in 1859, the Dutch were the only Westerners who were allowed to stay in and trade with Japan. Therefore, the words Dutch or Holland had become synonymous with Western. Following the abolishment of the isolation policy, the Japanese kept referring to all Westerners as Dutch and Western influences and teachings as Dutch for some years. Hence, the Dutch slope probably refers more to the fact that it is a foreign-style road which leads to an area settled by Westerners. The Western villas on top of the hill are all sequentially numbered, which is the primary way to identify them. Some of the buildings are open to the public. That includes the Higashiyamate number 13, which belonged to a wealthy family, and Higashiyamate number 12, which formerly housed a Russian and American consulate. Nagasaki Confucius Shrine is one of only a few shrines dedicated to the Chinese philosopher Confucius in Japan. The shrine was built in 1893 by Nagasaki's Chinese community. The colorful shrine also contains a museum at the rear of the grounds. A small garden with a bridge and pond greets visitors at the entrance. The ornate Chinese-style buildings are adorned with yellow roofs. Flanking the shrine's courtyard stand the 72 sages, life-size stone statues that weigh around 2 tons each and depict Confucius disciples. The shrine encourages visitors to find among the statues one that resembles a relative. In the center of the complex stands the main hall, which dates back to the time of the shrine's construction. It serves as a fine example of Chinese architectural techniques and houses a seated statue of Confucius. At the rear of the complex is the Historical Museum of China, which was built in 1983 to celebrate the 90th anniversary of the shrine's founding and intends to promote friendship between Japan and China. The museum itself contains a range of artifacts from China, including pottery, sculptures, and other works of art. The third floor displays artwork and documents related to the shrine itself. Confucius, the founder of Confucianism, was born over 2,500 years ago on September 28, 551 BC, as the second son of a military man. He busied himself with study and preaching to his many disciples. His most famous writing is the Analects of Confucius. This is a record of his collected sayings, the teachings in his dialogues with his disciples, and the disciples' conversations with Confucius about their beliefs. The entire mausoleum contains 20 compilations, in 500 sections, for a total of over 16,000 characters of the Analects of Confucius carved into marble imported from Hualien, Taiwan.
you.